The fact that we're having the new building being put together, being constructed right now, is got to be one of the biggest advancements the school has had. I've watched us go from a few classrooms. We had a biology lab, we had a chemistry lab, and we had an anatomy lab. We didn't even have a physics lab when I started here. Building was redone, and we ended up having biology, chemistry, physics, and an anatomy lab. And now we're going to have, I have no idea I haven't seen the guts of the building yet, but I'm assuming with the size of it that there's a number of labs in there available and a number of classrooms.
So Mr. Bluge, how have the students changed over your years at Trinity Prep?
A number of years ago, I wrote a note to Craig about this because we were getting so many people complaining about the students that they don't care. I said, no, that's not true. They're not different than they were 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or 30 years ago. They're still the same as they've always been. So I don't think that the kids have changed all that much, honestly. It's just that we expect a heck of a lot more of them.
So that's the students. How about science? How has the science changed over the years at Trinity?
Pretty dramatically. When I first came to Trinity, I taught 7th and 8th grade science, and 7th grade science was scary. 8th grade science was a life science thing. But one thing that I tried to maintain throughout the whole program was that in 7th grade, 6th grade, 8th grade, let's make it fun. Let's make it fun. Let's make the kids interested in science so they have a like for it, so that when they come to the upper school, now we can really teach heavy stuff to them. So in that sense, I guess it hasn't changed too much, but in what is actually being taught has changed considerably. I mean, with technology and the way we teach is so different than what we did 40 years ago or whatever. So,
how about you and Father Ellis were very close in your early years here at Trinity. What are some of your favorite memories of working with him?
Father Ellis was an incredible person to know. I mean, we in the department, when he was our department chair, whenever we had a question, we could always go to him and ask, and he would know the answer. Got to the point where we started nicknaming him the resident genius, is what we called him. And it was Steve Stevenson and I that coined that, I think. That I don't know that he ever found out that we called him our resident genius, but to listen to him, there wasn't anything in chemistry, physics, biology that he couldn't answer the question to. That was just incredible. I couldn't believe that a person could know all these things. And from time to time I would check, and he was right. So that's Father Ellis.
That brings back some fond memories. What do you think are some of the greatest lessons we students have taken away from the science classes here at Trinity, whether it's yours or Father Ellis's? First
of all, the word science literally means to know. And I think that what we wanted to do from day one in the science department was to get the kids to understand that, to know what's going on, and to begin to understand and realize also that science is a constant learning process. There's so much that changes, that we learn so much more about science, that it's not that we're saying that what we're teaching in the class is fact and dogma, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Rather, we're saying this is what we understand it to be now, and with time we can change. We may learn more, especially with technology as it comes into play. So the biggest thing we want them to know is to keep learning and keep understanding that changes do take place, and we have to take that into consideration.
Okay, and from the profound to the mundane, what became of the fruit fly morgue?
The fruit fly morgue is kind of a funny story. I don't know, I guess it started with, I took a course in genetics in college, and we had morgues all over the place for the fruit flies because you don't want them flying all over the place. So I put a jar out and put some alcohol in it, and then we'd have the kids throw the fruit flies in the morgue. And this went on for years. We kept it. And it got to the point where probably 25 years or 30 years into this jar filling up with dead fruit flies, the kids would ask, well, what are you going to do with them when they fill up, when it's all full? And I used to always tell them, it's when I retire. And the kids, they'd check it out, getting pretty high. Well, the next year, suddenly, for some reason, it would have gone a little lower. And the reason it had gone lower is that I threw some of them out and got rid of them, so that, okay. And the story would go on and on and on. After I retired, I really don't know what happened to fruit fly morgue, but I do have a picture of it. So that's the story of the fruit fly morgue.
Well, thank you, Dennis, for all you've taught us, especially the leadership and analytical skills that have so paid off for so many of us for many generations. Thank you so much.